Have you ever stood in your kitchen in the morning, looked down at that familiar bowl of oatmeal, and thought to yourself, is this really helping me stay strong? For decades, we've been told that oatmeal is the healthy breakfast choice. Doctors, commercials, magazines, they've all painted oatmeal as the picture of heart health and long life. And while oatmeal does have its benefits, here's the truth you've probably never heard before. When it comes to fighting the number one threat to your independence after 60, muscle loss or sarcopenia, oatmeal is not enough. In fact, relying on it could be quietly holding you back. The real breakfast that builds muscle, protects your strength, and fights off sarcopenia isn't a bland bowl of oats. It's a simple protein, rich American meal that works with your body's needs, especially as you age. Forget oatmeal. Today I'm going to share the real breakfast that builds muscle and kills sarcopenia, backed by science, trusted by doctors, and tested in the lives of American seniors just like you. Let's start with why sarcopenia matters so much. Sarcopenia is the gradual loss of muscle that begins in our 40s and accelerates after 60. By the time most Americans hit 70, they've lost up to 30% of their muscle mass. Think about that. Imagine a car engine losing 30% of its horsepower. Every hill would feel steeper, every load heavier, every trip shorter. That's what happens inside your body. Sarcopenia makes climbing stairs harder, getting out of a chair slower, even carrying groceries more exhausting. But it's not just about inconvenience. Weak muscles are the number one predictor of falls, fractures, hospitalizations, and loss of independence in seniors. And here's the scary part. Most people don't even notice it happening until one day they trip, or they can't lift themselves up the way they used to, and suddenly life changes. The hopeful part is that sarcopenia is not inevitable. It can be slowed, stopped, and in many cases, reversed. And the first step begins not in the gym, but at the breakfast table. Here's why breakfast matters so much. After fasting all night, your body wakes up in a catabolic state, meaning it's breaking down tissue, including muscle, for energy. What you feed it first thing in the morning sets the tone for the entire day. If you start with mostly carbohydrates like a bowl of oatmeal, your blood sugar rises, your insulin spikes, and while you might feel full for a short while, your muscles are left without the building blocks they need to repair and grow. Protein is what muscles crave in the morning. Without it, your body continues to chip away at your muscle tissue, accelerating sarcopenia. But with it, you flip the switch from breakdown to build up. Protein in the morning tells your muscles, here are the tools you need to repair, grow, and stay strong. That's why the right breakfast can literally mean the difference between losing strength and rebuilding it. So what is this muscle-building breakfast? It's a simple protein-packed plate centered around eggs. That's right, good old-fashioned American eggs. Scrambled, boiled, poached, or made into an omelette, eggs are nature's perfect package of protein, healthy fats, and essential nutrients. Each egg contains high-quality protein with all 9 essential amino acids, including leucine, the amino acid that acts like a key turning on the switch for muscle protein synthesis. Without leucine, muscles don't get the signal to grow stronger, and eggs are one of the richest natural sources of it. Oatmeal, on the other hand, contains almost no leucine and only a small fraction of the protein your muscles need. That's why switching from oatmeal to eggs can make such a powerful difference in fighting sarcopenia. Let me tell you a story. Carl, a 78-year-old retired mechanic from Kansas, was struggling with weakness. He said he felt like his legs just weren't under him anymore. His doctor told him it was just aging and recommended more pills. But Carl's granddaughter, a nurse, suggested a simple change: swap his morning oatmeal for 2 eggs and a slice of whole grain toast. Carl thought it sounded too easy, but he gave it a try. Within a month, he noticed he could get out of his chair without using his arms for support. Within 3 months, he was back to walking around his block every evening. Carl told me, I thought I was headed downhill for good, but 2 eggs a day gave me my legs back. That's the power of fueling your muscles with protein first thing in the morning. But eggs are just the beginning. Pairing them with other high-protein breakfast foods creates an even stronger defense against sarcopenia. Greek yogurt, for example, is packed with protein and calcium supporting both muscles and bones. Cottage cheese is another powerhouse, rich in casein protein that digests slowly, providing a steady stream of amino acids throughout the morning. Add a small portion of smoked salmon or lean turkey sausage, and you're stacking layer upon layer of muscle fuel. Compare that to oatmeal topped with sugar or fruit, and the difference becomes clear. One breakfast feeds your muscles, the other feeds your blood sugar. One builds strength, the other leaves you vulnerable to weakness. That's why so many American seniors who make this simple swap notice dramatic changes in their energy and independence. Of course, I know what some people are thinking, but oatmeal is good for cholesterol, right? It's supposed to protect my heart. And yes, oatmeal contains soluble fiber that can help lower LDL cholesterol. But here's the good news. You don't have to give it up completely. You can still enjoy oatmeal as a side or occasional meal. The key is that it should not be the foundation of your breakfast if your goal is to fight muscle loss. You can sprinkle oats into a protein-rich smoothie or have a small serving alongside eggs. But relying on oatmeal alone is like trying to build a house with only wood and no nails. Your muscles need the nails, the protein, the amino acids, the vitamins, to hold everything together. Now, let's get practical. How much protein do you actually need in the morning to fight sarcopenia? Research shows that older adults need more protein than younger people, at least 25 to 30 grams per meal to stimulate muscle protein synthesis effectively. That's about what you'd get from 3 eggs and a half cup of Greek yogurt, or 2 eggs with a slice of turkey and a serving of cottage cheese. Oatmeal, by contrast, gives you only about 5 grams of protein per serving. Even if you doubled the portion, you'd still be far short of the mark. That's why so many seniors who think they're eating healthy are still losing muscle. They're simply not getting enough protein to flip the muscle building switch. Another reason this breakfast strategy works so well for Americans is that it fits naturally into our culture and routines. Eggs, yogurt, cottage cheese, turkey, salmon, these are familiar foods. You don't need exotic powders or complicated recipes. You just need to shift your mindset from low fat, low protein to muscle fueling protein first. And it doesn't have to be expensive. A dozen eggs is still one of the most affordable protein sources in any grocery store. Cottage cheese and yogurt are widely available. Even budget-conscious seniors can build a muscle-friendly breakfast without straining their wallets. Compare that to the cost of hospital stays, medications, or assisted living after a fall, and it's clear that this is one of the smartest investments you can make. I remember meeting a woman named Patricia, 72 years old, from Ohio. She had been eating oatmeal every morning for 20 years because she believed it was the healthiest option. But she noticed her arms and legs growing weaker, and she worried about falling. When she learned about protein-first breakfasts, she switched to scrambled eggs with spinach and cottage cheese on the side. Within weeks, she noticed she could carry her groceries again without feeling exhausted. She told me, "I thought getting weaker was just part of getting older, but now I know better. My breakfast was holding me back." Patricia's story is one of thousands across America, proving that it's never too late to make the change. Now let's talk about why breakfast is the perfect time to fight sarcopenia. Your body's muscle-building machinery is most sensitive after fasting, like first thing in the morning. Giving your body protein at that time maximizes the anabolic response, meaning your muscles soak it up more efficiently. If you skip breakfast, or if you eat a carb-heavy meal like oatmeal, you miss that golden window. By the time lunch comes around, your body has already spent half the day in breakdown mode. That's why spreading protein evenly throughout the day, starting with breakfast, is so important. It's not about eating more calories. It's about giving your muscles the right fuel at the right time. Some might say, "But I don't feel hungry in the morning." That's common, especially among seniors who have gotten used to small or carb-heavy breakfasts. But hunger is often a habit, and habits can change. Start small if you need to. 1 egg and a few bites of yogurt. Over time, your body will adjust, and you'll find yourself looking forward to the energy and strength that comes with a protein-first breakfast. And remember, it's not just about today. It's about your future. Every bite you take in the morning is an investment in your strength 6 months, a year, even 5 years from now. Another critical point is that muscle doesn't just protect your ability to move. It protects your metabolism, your bones, your brain, even your heart. Seniors with more muscle mass live longer, recover faster from illness, and maintain their independence far better than those with less. That's why sarcopenia is such a dangerous enemy. It doesn't just take away your strength, it takes away your freedom. But the solution isn't complicated. It doesn't require extreme exercise or expensive therapies. It starts with what's on your plate in the morning. So here's the truth, plain and simple. Oatmeal may have been the hero of yesterday's breakfast, but today, if you want to fight sarcopenia and build muscle after 60, it's time to move beyond it. Forget oatmeal. Embrace a breakfast that puts protein first: eggs, yogurt, cottage cheese, lean meats, even a sprinkle of cheese or nuts. All of these foods deliver the amino acids your muscles need. And when you start your day with them, you set yourself up for strength, energy, and independence. You give your body the tools it needs to not just survive aging, but to thrive through it. Now that you understand why oatmeal doesn't give your body what it needs in the morning, let's dig deeper into the science and the stories behind protein, first breakfasts, and why they matter so much, especially for Americans over 60. Because once you know what happens inside your body when you feed it protein early in the day, you'll never look at breakfast the same way again. Every muscle in your body is constantly breaking down and rebuilding. That balance between breakdown and build up is what determines whether you gain strength or lose it. After 60, the balance tilts toward breakdown. That's why so many seniors feel like they're shrinking, losing power, and struggling with even simple tasks. But here's the hopeful truth. Protein has the ability to flip the balance back in your favor. It contains amino acids, the raw building blocks your muscles crave, and one in particular, leucine, is like the ignition key. Without leucine, the muscle-building machinery stays off. With it, the machinery switches on and begins patching, repairing, and growing your muscle fibers. Now think about oatmeal again. A big bowl might fill you up, but it only has about 5 grams of protein and very little leucine. It doesn't flip the switch. Your body stays in breakdown mode. Compare that to 3 eggs, which provide nearly 20 grams of high-quality protein and a rich dose of leucine. Add a scoop of Greek yogurt, and you're well past the threshold your body needs to start building muscle. That's why seniors who eat protein at breakfast often report feeling more energized, stronger, and less sore as the weeks go by. They've given their body the signal to rebuild instead of decline. I remember meeting Frank, a 74-year-old retired fireman from Texas. He was proud of his past strength, but recently he noticed he couldn't carry his groceries up the porch steps without pausing. He told me he ate oatmeal with raisins every morning because he thought it was heart healthy. His daughter, a physical therapist, convinced him to try a new routine: 2 eggs, half a cup of cottage cheese, and some berries on the side. At first, Frank thought it was too heavy, but within weeks he noticed his stamina improving. He told me he felt steadier on his feet, and his doctor confirmed that his walking speed had improved. Frank said, "I didn't change anything else, just breakfast. And suddenly my legs feel like they belong to me again." That's the power of feeding your muscles in the morning. Protein doesn't just help muscles, it helps your metabolism too. Many American seniors complain that they can't control their weight the way they used to. The truth is, losing muscle slows down your metabolism. It's like trading in a V8 engine for a lawnmower. Protein at breakfast helps maintain lean tissue, which in turn keeps your metabolism burning. Eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, lean meats. These foods stabilize blood sugar, prevent energy crashes, and help you feel full longer. Compare that to oatmeal, which spikes blood sugar and often leaves people hungry again by mid-morning. A high-protein breakfast not only builds muscle but also helps with weight control, appetite regulation, and even blood pressure. There's also the critical connection between muscle and independence. In America, one of the most feared outcomes of aging is losing the ability to live on your own. Falls are the leading cause of injury among seniors, and weak muscles are the #1 predictor of those falls. By building muscle through protein-first breakfasts, you are directly protecting your independence. It may sound dramatic, but the food on your plate in the morning can decide whether you're still driving your own car at 75 or needing help with daily tasks. Let's talk about specific foods beyond eggs because variety matters. Greek yogurt is one of the best protein sources available, rich, creamy, and packed with probiotics that also support digestion. Cottage cheese delivers casein protein, which digests slowly, giving you a steady supply of amino acids throughout the morning. Smoked salmon is another powerhouse, providing protein plus omega-3 fatty acids that reduce inflammation and support muscle recovery. Even lean turkey sausage or chicken breast leftovers from last night's dinner can be repurposed into a protein-first breakfast. The American grocery store is full of these options. The challenge isn't access, it's habit. We've been trained to think of breakfast as sweet, carb-heavy foods, cereal, toast, pastries, oatmeal. But once you retrain your habits to see breakfast as muscle fuel, you realize the possibilities are endless. I recall a couple from Michigan, Bill and Linda, both in their late 70s. They admitted they fell into the routine of bagels and oatmeal every morning. Both complained of fatigue and aching legs. Their granddaughter introduced them to protein breakfasts. Omelets with spinach and cheese, Greek yogurt with nuts, even breakfast burritos made with eggs and turkey. Within 2 months, both of them noticed their energy rising. Bill said, "I feel like I've got a spring in my step again." Linda laughed and said, "We haven't felt this strong in years, and all we did was change breakfast." Their story proves that real change doesn't always require drastic diets. It can begin with one meal. Now let's dive deeper into the science of why morning protein is so powerful. After an overnight fast, your body has depleted its amino acid supply. The muscle fibers are primed for repair but waiting for the raw material. If you supply protein within that first meal, muscle protein synthesis, the process of building new muscle, rises dramatically. If you don't, the opportunity fades. Researchers call this the ornabolic window, and while it exists throughout the day, it's strongest in the morning after fasting. For seniors, whose bodies are less sensitive to protein than younger adults, this window is critical. You need a strong signal to flip the muscle-building switch, and breakfast is the most powerful moment to deliver it. Some people ask, "Can't I just get protein at dinner?" The problem is that most Americans eat little protein at breakfast and lunch, then load up at dinner. Studies show this uneven distribution leads to less muscle growth than spreading protein evenly across 3 meals. Your muscles can only use so much protein at one time. Eating 30 grams at breakfast, 30 at lunch, and 30 at dinner stimulates muscle growth 3 times, compared to just once at dinner. That's why starting your day with protein is non-negotiable if you're serious about fighting sarcopenia. Think of it like watering a plant. If you give it all the water at once, it soaks up what it can, and the rest runs off. But if you water it consistently throughout the day, it grows stronger, healthier, and more resilient. Your muscles work the same way. A protein-rich breakfast is the first watering, setting the tone for growth. Another overlooked benefit of protein breakfasts is how they affect mood and mental clarity. Protein helps produce neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin, which regulate mood, focus, and energy. Seniors who start their day with protein often report feeling more alert, less foggy, and better able to concentrate. Oatmeal, by contrast, often leads to mid-morning crashes, irritability, and brain fog. By simply shifting your breakfast, you're not only feeding your muscles, you're feeding your brain. Let's not forget cost, because many American seniors are on fixed incomes. The good news is that protein breakfasts can be affordable. Eggs remain one of the cheapest sources of protein. A tub of Greek yogurt provides multiple servings for just a few dollars. Cottage cheese, peanut butter, even beans can stretch the budget while still delivering muscle-building nutrients. Compare that to the cost of hospital visits after a fall or medications for frailty, and the choice is clear. Spending a few extra dollars on protein-rich foods is one of the best investments you can make in your health and independence. And then there's the emotional side. Many seniors feel discouraged when they notice their strength slipping. They believe it's just part of aging. But when they start a new breakfast routine and notice their muscles responding, their confidence grows. They begin to believe again in their ability to stay independent. That belief feeds motivation, and motivation fuels consistency. One small change creates a ripple effect through every part of life. Think of Sarah, a 71-year-old grandmother from North Carolina. She told me she had stopped walking to church because her legs felt too weak. She dreaded becoming a burden on her children. At her granddaughter's suggestion, she swapped her oatmeal for scrambled eggs with spinach and cottage cheese. After 2 months, Sarah proudly told me she was walking to church again. She said, "I feel like I've taken back my life." For her, breakfast wasn't just food, it was freedom. All of this brings us back to a simple truth: oatmeal is not the enemy, but it's not the hero either. Protein is the hero, and the morning is the battlefield where sarcopenia is fought. By choosing eggs, yogurt, cottage cheese, salmon, or turkey instead of oats, you give yourself the ammunition to win that battle. It doesn't take a miracle. It takes consistency. Every morning, the choice is in your hands. Will you feed your muscles what they need, or will you leave them starving and shrinking? At this point, you've seen the truth about oatmeal. You've seen why protein matters so deeply in the morning. And you've heard the stories of Americans who turned their lives around by changing a single meal. But the real question is this: how do you make it last? Because it's one thing to change breakfast for a week. It's another to turn it into a lifelong habit that rebuilds your muscles day after day, year after year. That's what this chapter is about: long-term strategies, sustainable habits, and the small adjustments that keep you stronger longer. First, let's talk about consistency. Sarcopenia is not fought in a day. It creeps up over decades, and the only way to defeat it is through steady daily effort. Every morning, when you choose protein over carbs, you're casting a vote for strength instead of weakness. Over weeks, those votes add up. Over months, they reshape your body. Over years, they protect your independence. It's not about perfection. It's about persistence. Even if you slip back into oatmeal once in a while, it won't erase your progress. What matters is the pattern you build: protein first, day after day. Think of it like saving money. You don't notice the difference after one deposit, but after a year, 5 years, 10 years, the account is overflowing. Breakfast works the same way. Each egg, each spoonful of yogurt, each bite of cottage cheese is a deposit into your muscle savings account. And just like money in the bank, it compounds over time. The earlier you start, the greater the reward. But even if you're in your 70s or 80s, it's never too late to start saving. Every deposit counts. Now, let's talk about variety, because one reason people fall back into old habits is boredom. Oatmeal seems easy. It's quick. It's familiar. It doesn't change. But protein breakfasts can be just as simple if you plan ahead, and far more satisfying when you add variety. One day it's scrambled eggs with spinach and a slice of cheese. The next day it's Greek yogurt with nuts and berries. Another day it's cottage cheese with sliced tomatoes and smoked salmon. Maybe on Sunday it's an omelette with mushrooms and turkey sausage. None of these meals take more than 10 minutes to prepare, but each one delivers the protein and nutrients your muscles crave. By rotating them, you keep breakfast exciting and sustainable. I knew a man named Harold, a 79-year-old veteran from Missouri. He told me he hated routine. Oatmeal was boring, but it was easy, so he stuck with it. When he tried switching to protein breakfasts, he worried he'd get tired of eggs every day. Instead, his daughter helped him build a weekly rotation: eggs on Monday, yogurt on Tuesday, cottage cheese on Wednesday, a breakfast burrito on Thursday, and so on. Harold laughed when he told me, "I look forward to breakfast now. It's the best part of my day." And over time, the strength in his legs returned. He said he felt like he'd added 10 years to his life. That's the power of variety. Another important factor is pairing protein with other nutrients. Muscles don't work alone. They depend on vitamins and minerals to repair and grow. Vitamin D helps muscles use calcium. Magnesium calms nerves and prevents cramps. Vitamin B12 supports oxygen delivery. When you combine protein breakfasts with nutrient-rich foods, you give your muscles everything they need. For example, an omelette with spinach delivers protein plus magnesium and vitamin K. Greek yogurt with berries provides protein plus vitamin C, which helps build collagen. Cottage cheese with fortified cereal gives you protein plus vitamin D. These combinations make breakfast not just muscle building, but whole body strengthening. There's also the role of hydration. Many seniors don't realize that dehydration can make muscles weaker and more prone to cramps. Starting your day with a glass of water alongside your protein breakfast helps deliver those nutrients to your muscles more efficiently. It's a simple habit that multiplies the effects of your food. Think of it as oiling the engine before you start it up. Without water, the parts grind. With it, everything runs smoothly. But let's get real for a moment. Change isn't always easy. Habits are powerful, and oatmeal has been sold to Americans for decades as the healthy choice. You may face resistance from your own mind. You may wake up some mornings and crave the old routine. That's normal. The key is to remind yourself why you're making the change. You're not doing it to follow a trend. You're doing it to protect your strength, to fight sarcopenia, to stay independent. Every time you eat a protein breakfast, imagine yourself walking confidently without fear of falling, lifting your grandchildren with steady arms, driving your car with energy. That vision is the anchor that will keep you going. I want to share the story of Martha, a 76-year-old widow from Florida. She lived alone and admitted she often just poured a bowl of cereal or oatmeal in the morning because it was easy. But after a minor fall in her kitchen, she realized her strength was slipping. Her doctor warned her about sarcopenia. Determined not to lose her independence, she committed to protein breakfasts. She started with 1 egg and a small cup of yogurt. Within weeks, she noticed she could rise from her chair without pushing on the armrests. Within months, she was walking daily around her neighborhood. Martha told me, "Every time I crack an egg, I remind myself I'm cracking sarcopenia too." That mindset transformed her mornings and her life. Another point worth mentioning is community. Change is easier when you do it with others. If you live with a spouse, a sibling, or even a friend, invite them to join you in the protein breakfast routine. Share recipes. Cook together, hold each other accountable. Even if you live alone, you can connect with online groups, senior centers, or church friends who are also trying to eat better. When breakfast becomes a shared commitment, it's easier to stick with it. And the joy of sharing meals adds to your emotional strength, which is just as important as your physical strength. There's also the question of exercise. While this video is about breakfast, pairing protein with movement creates results that are nothing short of remarkable. A protein breakfast fuels your muscles. A short walk or light resistance training afterward tells your body where to send those nutrients. Together, they create a cycle of growth. You don't need to lift heavy weights or run marathons. Even simple bodyweight exercises, chair squats, or resistance bands combined with protein breakfasts can rebuild muscle and fight sarcopenia faster than either alone. It's food plus movement, the American way of taking practical action with what you have. And let's not forget one of the greatest overlooked benefits, mood and confidence. Weakness makes you feel old, strength makes you feel alive. When you notice your body responding, when you get up from the couch with ease, when you climb stairs without pausing, when you carry bags with confidence, you feel younger, sharper, more hopeful. That feeling feeds your spirit. It makes you want to keep going. And it all begins with one meal. Imagine yourself 6 months from now. Instead of a bland bowl of oatmeal, you start every day with a protein-rich breakfast. You've built the habit, you've seen the results, and you feel stronger than you have in years. Your doctor notices the difference, your family notices the difference, and most importantly, you notice the difference. You wake up with energy, you move with confidence, you live with independence. That's not just a dream, it's within your reach starting with tomorrow's breakfast. So here's my challenge to you. Tomorrow morning, skip the oatmeal. Instead, crack a couple of eggs, scoop some Greek yogurt, slice some turkey, or open a tub of cottage cheese. Pair it with a glass of water and maybe some fresh fruit for balance. Then do it again the next day and the next. Give it 30 days. Watch how your body responds. Feel how your muscles grow steadier, your energy lasts longer, and your confidence rises. Once you see the difference, you'll never go back. And before you go, let me say this. Your best years are not behind you, they're still ahead. You are not powerless against aging. You can fight sarcopenia, you can rebuild muscle, you can stay strong, independent, and full of life. And it all starts with one choice at breakfast. Forget oatmeal, choose strength, choose protein, choose independence. If this message inspired you, don't stop here. Come back to this channel every week. Subscribe, share, and keep learning with me. Because this is just the beginning. Together we'll uncover more simple, science-backed habits that protect your body, sharpen your mind, and give you the future you deserve. Your mornings are in your hands. Your strength is in your control, and your journey to a stronger, freer life starts now, with breakfast.